Hey, what's up, everybody? What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chris. It's your boy Chris. It's another amazing episode of Financipation. This channel is all about making money. It's all about saving money. It's all about building generational wealth. And it's all about financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty. On this channel, everybody, I try to give you roughly a six-figure MBA level worth of investing and financial advice for free here on YouTube. And the things that people typically spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to learn for, or whatever in grad school, I teach it to you for free on this channel. Over the years that I've been doing kind of financial helping and everything, as far as giving people financial advice and things of that nature, and just kind of helping them build generational wealth, I always have people ask me, Chris, what are the things that you don't invest in, and why don't you talk more about these particular subjects? And I actually decided, I think it's probably time for me to do a video about certain things that I don't do podcasts on. And I want to talk about, more importantly, why I don't actually invest in certain concepts, okay? So that, everybody, I want you to grab a pen and a pad, because I am going to put a lot of information into this particular podcast. And I want you to kind of get an idea about why I personally, and my wife and I personally, don't invest in certain things, okay? So as for me and my house, this is the type of stuff that we don't particularly fool around with. All right, I will start right off at the top, and this is going to be the one that's going to probably rub a lot of people the wrong way, but I'm going to say it. My wife and I do not invest in whole life insurance policies. For the record, my wife and I do have insurance. We have health insurance, we have car insurance, we have legal insurance, and we have short-term life insurance policies. So I believe in insurance. I just don't believe in getting whole life insurance policies. So first and foremost, what is an actual whole life insurance policy? Whole life insurance policies, as the name implies, is basically a policy that sticks with you for the entirety of your life as long as you pay the premiums. And one of the things they say is, okay, if you're getting whole life insurance, you might as well wrap that thing in some kind of investment package or whatever. And these investment policies are known as cash value policies that act somewhat like a tax shelter that grows in a tax deferred account or whatever. So it sounds good. And on the surface, I won't lie, it sounds really good. Okay, I'm getting life insurance and I'm basically paying into a retirement account. So it sounds very good, until you look a little deeper into it. So issue number one, whole life insurance policies are extremely expensive. The whole life insurance policy that a person was trying to recently sell my wife and I was literally 15 times higher than the short-term life insurance policy that we currently have. Issue number two, the first couple of years that you're actually paying into a whole life insurance policy or whatever, the excessive fees that you're paying into don't actually go to your retirement or whatever. They go toward the investors' fees and toward their commissions. So they essentially sell you very risky policies or whatever, so they can basically improve their fees and their commissions or whatever. I actually have a separate video on why I don't use financial planners, and this is one of the reasons why, okay? Issue number three, there are stories of people essentially investing literally 7 to 10 years into their life insurance, into their whole life insurance policies, and they don't literally have a dime going toward their actual retirement or toward the actual policy itself. So you're putting 7 to 10 years of your life into an insurance policy and into an account that does not even benefit you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Issue number four, whole life insurance policies, and this was the one to me that actually broke the camel's back. Whole life insurance policies have an absolutely terrible rate of return. So I'll give you an example. According to NerdWallet, the average whole life insurance policy has a rate of return of only 2.75%. So let's round that thing up to 3%, okay, just to make the numbers easy. The average low-cost total stock market index fund that my wife and I invest into over a 15-year period has averaged over 12% as far as its rate of return. So what's better, 3% for a whole life insurance policy or 12% for a good total stock market index fund? I'll let you decide. In other words, people, whole life insurance policies are absolutely horrible long-term investment. And I personally will not fool around with them at all. And the last thing I'll say about whole life insurance policies is this. They are pushed by the industry for a reason. But when you really think about it, there is absolutely no reason why you need a permanent need for life insurance. And I personally will not fool around with it. So you can do what you want to do. But as for me and my house, my wife and I, when we actually took a look at it, we don't fool around with whole life insurance policies. We have short-term life insurance policies or whatever, as once again, there is no permanent need for life insurance. Next, cryptocurrency. Oh, this is going to be another one that's going to basically rub a lot of people the wrong way. I'm actually going to make a separate video about this one just because I think this is a lot of stuff to unpack. But when I first started hearing about cryptocurrency, one of the things that kind of rubbed me the wrong way with it was that the people I saw who were pushing it, not everybody, because I had met some people that I actually respect their hustle, I respect their grind. I know from an educational level, these people are solid. But when I first started seeing the people that were showing up to crypto, let's just say it was not the kind of individuals I would put I would not put my financial ducks in their row, essentially. There was no financial knowledge I could gain from these people. and they were not book smart, they were not street smart, and they were not the kind of individuals I want to invest. I want to go into any kind of business with, let alone put my retirement accounts into their hands. So I'm going to film a separate video about this one, but I will say this. I want you to Google names like Sam Bankman-Fried or Ruja Ignatova. I hope I said that right. Or Carl Sebastian Greenwood. I want you to start kind of Googling cryptocurrency and stuff like that. And as you Google these individuals or whatever, I want you to kind of start taking a look at some of the headlines that you see and some of the things that you were kind of going on as far as crypto. Issue number one that I have with crypto, it's backed by software that's digitally based or whatever, and it's an investment platform that is extremely easy to hack. So once again, everybody, Google those names. Sam Bankman-Fried, Ruja Ignatova, Carl Sebastian Greenwood. Take a look at what's kind of going on with a lot of cryptocurrency. A lot of people are essentially getting hacked left and right, and they're losing the hundreds of thousands, in some cases millions of dollars they put in there. So if you want to get your money back quickly or whatever, and your accounts have been stolen, they've been hacked, good luck if you're investing a lot in a crypto wallet, okay? Issue number two, crypto is not backed by actual assets. And this was another issue that I had 10 to 12 years ago when somebody first kind of started approaching me about the whole cryptocurrency thing. Because if you invest essentially people in the stock market, okay, that company's assets like Tesla or Google, they're backed by revenues, they're backed by profits, they're backed by their earnings or whatever. So they have some kind of foundation that they basically sit on. If you invest in a U.S. Treasury bond, which I'm actually not the biggest fan of, but let's say you decide to invest in a U.S. Treasury bond or whatever, that bond is backed by the federal government. It's literally backed by institutions that in some cases are over 200 years old. Next, options contracts. So just like crypto, I've only heard stories about people kind of making money and stacking paper with options contracts or whatever. And whether the stock goes up or down, they say they make money. And the thing about it is like this, it gives you the option, essentially with the options contract, to buy a stock at a price that's already been determined, right? And the Google definitions of options is essentially, options contract is basically a contract that gives an investor the option to buy or sell an asset at a specified price before a specified date. So in order to make money on these contracts or whatever, you have to have three things that have to work perfect for you, okay? First and foremost, number one, you have to predict how high or how low the stock price is going to go. Number two, you have to predict the time frame and basically predict when it's going to go up or when it's going to go down. And number three, you have to predict the right direction. So if you predict it going up, it has to go up. If you predict it going down, it had better go down, or you're not really going to make a lot of money. I guess my biggest issue with this is first and foremost this. I'm not a fan of option contracts because to me, it is a very definition of timing the markets and market speculation. As a long-term investor, I don't fool around with that, period. It's too much work. Issue number two I have with this, by my very definition, once again, I am a long-term investor. I like to invest my money on things that are for the long haul. I want them to be simple. I want them to be efficient. I want them to be fire and forget, essentially. I don't want to have to worry about whether it's going up or whether it's going down. I want to put my money into it, and 15 years later, I come back and it basically has grown 200 to 300%. That's kind of the way that I like to invest. That's just my own personal 2 cents. And issue number three that I have with that, I'm a very busy person. I run businesses. I'm dominating corporate America, thank God, or whatever. I have a lot of different things going on, a lot of different hobbies. I don't have the time to be worrying. I don't have the patience to try to look at stocks or whatever and try to determine what's going to happen. I don't fool around with market speculation, and I don't fool around with these. My personal advice is this. My wife and I, we do not invest in options contracts. And if you want to do that, you can. But as for me and my house, we don't fool around with them, period. Before I go any further, please like, please comment, please subscribe. It helps the algorithm, and I thoroughly enjoy giving you guys free content, okay? Next, annuities. This actually kind of surprises a lot of people that I say this one. Annuities kind of work like this. You give a very large lump sum of money to an insurance company or whatever, or to a financial planner or whatever, and they give you a set amount of money every month. That way, when you get into retirement, you have a lump sum you have an amount of money coming to you or whatever, and that way you don't go broke. So I guess it kind of sounds good. If you got $1 million in the bank and you're 65, you don't want to blow it all basically in 2 or 3 years, and then you're looking at another 15 years of being poor. So I guess the way annuities work is we give you a small amount every month or whatever, and then you basically can live your life in comfort. I guess the biggest issue number one that I have with this is that financial planners and the industry, they push annuities. And if they push annuities, there's a reason why these hedge fund managers and these individuals are pushing these things or whatever. And they push them because these individuals, these financial planners and these in the industry, they get massive commissions by selling you annuities. I'm gonna make a separate video about this one, but generally speaking, everybody, if the industry is pushing something and financial planners whose income is based on commissions is pushing something, you as a client, you as a customer, need to sit back and say, okay, why is this person doing it? Because they're not doing it out of the kindness of their hearts. Issue number 2 that I have with annuities: most annuities don't take into account the rate of inflation. So what's the point of spending 45 to 50 years of your life to put your money into something or whatever that you have to pay extra money for them to manage it after you've already paid extra money and lost money for them to actually take it to begin with? It doesn't make any sense, people, and I don't fool around with it. Issue number 3, rate of return and or the variable rate of return is lost on fees and commissions. So once again, everybody, you spent 40 to 50 years of your life building this lump sum of money. Let's say it's $2 to $3 million. You hand it to these people, and immediately when they take it, they take out fees, they take out commissions or whatever, and they basically take your money that you spent your entire life building. What is the point of that? Last issue that I have with annuities is this: if you get rich, my advice is keep doing what got you there. So if you spent 45 to 50 years of your life doing real estate investing, being a real estate investor, you spent 45 to 50 years of your life basically investing in low-cost index funds. You spent 45 to 50 years of your life basically building an Airbnb business or whatever. Why in the world would you wait until you were 60 or 65 years old to then take the money that you built yourself and then hand it to a group of individuals so they can manage it for you or whatever? When your rate of return when the rate of return that you were getting over the last 45 to 50 years has a better track record than the individual that you give your money to. It makes no sense, everybody. Instead of using an annuity, once you hit retirement, my advice is simple. Simply keep investing in low-cost index funds or whatever, and keep doing the same things that got you there to begin with. Next, penny stocks. Penny stocks are made up of companies that trade for less than $5 a share. So this is kind of how it works. You basically put $5 in a small stock, it goes up, you make $2 per stock. So it seems pretty good or whatever. You put a little bit of money in a stock that's not doing very well or whatever, and if it goes up, you get a lot of money. Issue number 1 that I have with this: these attract essentially broke people because a company that sells under $5 is very attractive to broke people. So in other words, they attract individuals who are not very smart financially. Issue number 2: sadly, most of these companies that basically are poor, that do penny stocks, they're poorly ran, and there's a reason their stocks are selling for $5 a share. So my advice is simple. As a long-term investor, once again, I like simple and efficient. I want to put my money, I want fire and forget. I want to put my money into this account, and I show up 15 years later, and that thing has literally done more than quadrupled. With penny stocks, it doesn't happen because a lot of the stocks, whatever that you go into, they're very risky, they're very volatile, they're poorly ran, and they're not going to be there. My advice is simple. Instead of investing in penny stocks, you should instead invest in low-cost index funds, okay? Next, gold. I'm actually going to do a separate video on gold, okay? And gold is interesting. So I guess my biggest issue number 1 that I have with gold is this: first and foremost, you have to store it. And I guess inherently there's nothing wrong with storage, but as a millennial or whatever, let's be honest, storage is very expensive. If you don't believe me, take a look at real estate in like Manhattan or Washington, D.C. or Miami or whatever. Storage is very expensive. First and foremost, you have to actually store gold. Issue number 2 that I have with gold is this: the rate of return for gold over a 15-year period was only about 4% according to Statistica.com. 4%. Whereas the average rate of return for a low-cost total stock market index fund is around 12% over a 15-year period. 4% versus 12%. One, you actually have to store it in your house. The second one, you can store it digitally. And then lastly, issue number 3 that I have with gold: guns. Lastly, issue number 3 that I have with gold: you got to basically protect it. So if people realize in your neighborhood you got about $75,000 or $80,000 worth of gold coins laying around your home, you might want to buy a Uzi and be ready to use your Second Amendment rights to defend yourself, okay? I'll just leave it at that. So gold, it's one of those kind of things. I personally don't mess with it. I'm not saying that you shouldn't, but as for me in my house, it's not really an investment that I like to pursue, okay? So in closing, everybody, I'll say this. In general, I think investing is generally a good thing. I think most people, investing something is better than investing nothing, but there are certain things that I don't personally invest in. I'm not saying that you shouldn't invest in it, but as for me in my house, as for me and my wife, we don't invest in whole life insurance policies. We don't invest in crypto. We don't invest in options contracts. We don't invest in annuities. We don't invest in penny stocks, and we don't invest in gold. That's what we don't invest in. So A person asked me, people have been asking me questions about why don't I make videos about such and such? Why don't I make videos about this? And I have those videos coming, but just rough and dirty, I just kind of wanted to explain why we personally do not invest in certain things. Okay, that everybody, this channel, Financipation, is all about making money. It's all about saving money. It's all about building generational wealth, and it's all about financially emancipating yourself from generational poverty. It's your boy Chris. I'm out, everybody. Take care. Peace. Peace.